Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Northampton Township Board of Supervisors Reorganization meeting. It is Monday, January 6th, 2025. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We'll have a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We do have one quick order of business. Bob?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I may move to add to the agenda an opportunity for public comment on agenda items before resolutions and motions.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we'll do public comment for agenda items between number 5 and number 6. We'll call it 5.5. There is a sign-in sheet in the back. If anybody'd like to speak on an agenda item, please sign up on the sheet in the back. There's also a second opportunity for public comment, which is at the end of the meeting, and there's a sign-up sheet in the back as well, and I'll call you to the microphone. First order of business is organization of the Board of Supervisors. This is where we annually elect the leadership of the board, and I will accept a motion for nomination for chairperson.
Yes, if I may, I'll move to elect Adam Selisker as chairperson.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any other motions, any other names? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all. Thank you very much. I appreciate your confidence in me to continue to run the meetings. Next up, election of a vice chairperson. Is there a nomination?
Okay, I nominate Bob Salser for vice chair.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any other nominations? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Bob. Election of a secretary. Is there a nomination?
I'll nominate Paula Gasper.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any others? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Finally, for election of a treasurer.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I nominate Dr. Kim Rose,
Is there a second?
treasurer.
I'll second it.
Any others? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And this appointment, we just appoint, right? Okay, I do need a motion to appoint Mr. Pellegrino as the Assistant Secretary. Is there a motion?
I'll nominate him.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any others? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Do we have to see? Oh, okay, we're good? Okay. Next item up is liaisons, liaison responsibilities. Let me just make sure I have my sheet, sorry. Liaison responsibilities are going to stay as they were in 2024. Barry has financial affairs and community development. Paula has blighted property, library, and veterans advisory commission. Bob Salzer has historical commission, Bucks County Municipal Authority, public works and facilities. I have public safety, police, fire, EMS, EMA, and the country club. And Kim Rose has parks and facilities, the senior center, and is our PSATS voting delegate. Thank you. All right. This is an opportunity for public comment. Anybody on the agenda? Anything for the agenda? Nope. Okay. Thanks. We'll move on. First up, resolutions and motions. This is what we do each year at our reorganization meeting, and we'll start with A, bond amounts for 2025. Kim?
Yes, I move to adopt Resolution R-2025-1, fixing the bond amounts for township officers for the 2025 calendar year.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Real estate tax. Barry?
Yes, I move to adopt Resolution R-25-2, fixing the real estate tax millage for rates for 2025.
Is there a
I'll
second?
that.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Paula, meeting dates for the board.
Sure. I move to approve the 2025 meeting schedule for the Board of Supervisors as proposed by the administration, and we have an attachment for it.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Holiday schedule, 2025 holiday schedule for non-union employees. Bob?
Yeah, I move to approve the 2025 holiday schedule for non-union employees as proposed by the administration.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 2025 mileage reimbursement rate. Kim?
I move to approve the 2025 mileage reimbursement rate at the rate established by the Internal Revenue Service.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Official depositories for the township. Kim?
I move to appoint TD Bank as the official depository for township funds in 2025 and designate any banking or financial institution meeting the criteria outlined in Section 708 of the Second-Class Township Code as authorized depositories for the investment of idle funds.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Paula, insurance providers and brokers of record?
Okay, I move to appoint the Delaware Valley Insurance Trusts as providers for general liability, workman's comp, and employee health insurance, the Hartford Group as providers of life and long-term disability insurance, and Past and No Incorporated, brokers of records for officer and employee bonds.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have a resolution 25-3 adopting the fee schedule for 2025. Bob?
I move to approve resolution number R-25-3 adopting the revised Northampton Township fee schedule effective January 7, 2025.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Investment policy statement, Barry?
Sure, I move to reaffirm the investment policy statement for 2025.
Is there a second?
I'll second it. Oh, okay.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, appointment of our professional consultants. We have 3 professional consultants to appoint this year. Start out with our township solicitor, Bob.
I move to appoint the firm of Pizzo Rudolph LLC with Joseph Pizzo Esquire serving as the township solicitor.
Is there a
Second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Township engineer, Paula.
Okay, I move to happily appoint Gilmore and Associates and Bowman Consulting Group as township engineers.
Is there a second?
I'll second it. Oh.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Labor attorney, Barry.
Yes, I move to appoint the firm of Offutt Kerman Attorneys as the township labor attorney for 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
1 nay. Motion carries. Okay, appointments to boards and commissions are next. Let me just get to the right place. Just going to have it. Thank you. First up is our vacancy board chairman, Bob.
I move to appoint David Breidinger as the vacancy board chairman for the 2025 calendar term.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bob, we'll stay with you for the Blighted Property Review Committee.
I move to appoint Richard Smith and Alexandra Solars to the Blighted Property Review Committee to fill a one-year term expiring on December 31, 2025.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Building Code Board of Appeals, Barry?
I move to appoint Matthew Petrowski to the Building Code Board of Appeals to fill a 5-year term expiring on December 31st, 2029.
Is there a second?
Sure, I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Historical Commission, Bob?
I move to appoint to the Historical Commission Jordan Suchi to fill an unexpired term effective immediately and expiring on December 31, 2025, and also to appoint Joanna Hartman English and Michael Yankelevich to fill 2 terms expiring December 31, 2029.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Library Board, Paula?
Okay, there is one unexpired term that the board is still reviewing applications for, and we'll consider an appointment at a later time. There are also 3 expired terms to fill. I move to appoint Eleanor Rosso and Charles Beam and Jessica Freefundel to fill 3 terms on the library board, which expires on December 31, 2027.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Municipal Authority, Bob?
I move to appoint Vincent Dion to the Northampton Bucks County Municipal Authority Board to fill a 5-year term expiring December 31, 2029.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
1 nay, motion carries. Thank you. Park and Rec Board, Kim?
I move to appoint John Bishop and Scott Duretz to the Parks and Rec Board to fill 5 5-year terms, 5-year terms expiring on December 31st, 2029.
I'll second that.
Thanks. I think it should be 2 5-year terms?
Yeah, I think it's 2
2
5-year
5-year terms.
Yeah.
It's just a 5-year term.
It's to fill okay, to fill a, okay.
Yeah.
Good, thank you, sorry.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye. I'm sorry, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Planning Commission, Barry?
Yes, I move to appoint Michael Enns and Pat McGuinness to the Planning Commission to fill 4-year terms expiring December 31st, 2028.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next up is our Veteran Advisory Commission, Paula.
Okay, on the VAC, there's 1 unexpired term and 1 expired term that we need to fill. We're still reviewing applications, and we will consider it at a later time. There's also 1 expired term to fill. I move to appoint the Veterans Advisory to the Veterans Advisory Commission, Eric Saraceno, to 1 term expiring on December 31, 2027.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Wall of Honor, I move to appoint Board of Supervisors Dr. Kim Rose to the Wall of Honor Committee for a 2-year term expiring December 31st, 2026. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. There is 1 resident vacancy that we're still reviewing, and we'll do that at a later time. And lastly, Zoning Hearing Board, Barry?
Sure. I move to appoint Ted Halpern to the Zoning Hearing Board for a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2027, and appoint Dan Wasserstrom and Mike Hardy as Zoning Hearing Board alternatives to serve 1-year terms expiring on December 31st, 2025.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. That concludes all our business for the reorganization meeting. Is there any new business from the board? No. Is there any public comment? None? Okay, hearing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.